Okay, attempt 3 on my lab recording. The first two, it didn't record my audio, and the second one, Cisco did not want to ping. So here we are again. Just going to quickly show that everything is correctly configured as requested by the handout we did. So everything should be all proper. PC. I really didn't have to do much with this. I just had to connect some things. I'll come back to that. The laptop is connected with the VR VPC 300N correctly. Along with that, I will show that the wireless card is working. The wireless card is up and running. There we go. Wireless router. I'm gonna bring a little window in here. Configure the wireless router properly. It's pretty straightforward. Got that taken care of. Cable modem I really didn't have to do much for. I just put it in there and connected cables to it. So that should be working properly. The internet cloud, I do a configure, well I didn't really have to, but I had the coaxial and the Ethernet that you had to make sure were in there, and they were, so that was good. And I also had to do the to and from ports, which I was able to do after I set the Ethernet 6 port to cable. It's listed to do that after you set the ports, but you can't really until you actually set the Ethernet to cable, so I was able to do that once I figured that out. Then finally, my Cisco server. The Cisco server is set up as requested. Everything's all peaches with that one. I'll go into the services. The DNS is set up to Cisco.com. My server pool and my DHC pool are right here. That one. Perfect. And now I'm going to go ahead and ping the respective Cisco.com and just make sure that everything's up and running properly. Fingers crossed. It was working for me. Just going to clear that out. That's some old stuff. Config release IP config renew. There we go. And now we're going to ping Cisco.com. Perfect. I was about to say, don't you just love an awkward silence where you're waiting for stuff to work? Yeah, third time's a charm. Everything works properly. I don't really know why it didn't work the second time I did this, but it is working now in the first time. I just didn't record the audio for it. Yeah, this is my lab submission. I really didn't have any issues figuring everything out. I just kind of went through the handout piece by piece. Wasn't too complicated. I think the only real thing I mentioned previously was that for the internet cloud over here, when you were setting up the cable to and from the from and to ports, you had to actually set the Ethernet 6 port to a cable first before you did this. But in the handout, it's listed to do this step after you set this, but you can't actually until you actually set this. So C and B sure flipped around. But otherwise, wasn't pretty complicated. Pretty easy. And that's my submission. Thank you very much.